1890s fashion. The 1890s didn't bother knocking. They crashed through the window, stinking of gin, and dragging the Constitution like a hostage, corsets clenched in a fist. Robber barons and the Spanish-American War? Background noise. The real violence was quieter, stitched into the back rooms of haberdashers, where fashion wielded more power than any lawmaker. Every tug of a corset string, every glimpse of ankle was a fresh skirmish, another amendment drafted in sweat and nerve endings, ratified or rejected on bare, trembling skin. The decade opened with women hurling bustles out the window like spent whiskey bottles, the air dense with cheap perfume and the raw scent of freedom. Padded hips vanished. In their place, silhouettes keen enough to draw blood. Collars bit into jaws, waists cinched until ribs begged for mercy, all in the name of rational lines. Rational, as if strangling yourself was the latest scientific marvel. The corset was equal parts medieval torture and sacred relic, a daily ritual applauded by cigar-chomping ghouls and immortalized by Charles Dana Gibson, who sketched his Gibson girl as a Valkyrie stalking the city, still kneeling at the altar of respectable womanhood. Women weren't just passengers on the fashion train. They seized the wheel, steering straight into the jaws of fate, grinning and unafraid. Then the bicycle crashed into the party. 2 wheels, 1 chain, and a stick of dynamite jammed into the soft underbelly of the patriarchy. The bicycle didn't just move women, it blew the locks off their cages. Susan B. Anthony called it emancipation on spokes, and for once, the hyperbole was real. Fashion went feral, bloomers, cycling suits, ankles flashing like Morse code for mutiny. Preachers howled, men frothed, and women tore past in a blur of skirts and wild hair, freedom roaring in their ears. Every spinning spoke was a bullet. Enter the shirtwaist blouse, the proletarian uprising disguised as cotton. Cheap, mass-produced, ripped from men's shirts and slapped onto every shopgirl, typist, and schoolmarm with a pulse and a grudge. It was a uniform, but not a surrender, a badge of independence, a coded handshake for anyone who could scrape together the price. The class line was a razor. The rich, still swaddled in Parisian silk, peering down at the shirt-waisted mob from behind smoked glass. Liberty was for sale if you knew which alley to haunt. College girls hurled basketballs and swung tennis rackets in bloomers and blouses, staging a mutiny right under the noses of blue bloods. This wasn't exercise, it was an open rebellion. Rational dress meant the body was more than a mannequin for the leering crowd, though the authorities tried to lock it behind gymnasium doors and hoped the fever would burn itself out. Bad news. The revolution has slipped the leash and ran free. Men didn't get a free pass. The peacocks of the past were plucked and stuffed, replaced by sack coats, Norfolk jackets, and collars so stiff they could double as weapons. This wasn't just a wardrobe update. It was a straitjacket of civic virtue, starched until the blood stopped moving. Dignity, as always, came with a price tag. Only the well-heeled got past the velvet rope. The aesthetic movement seeped in like bad absinthe. Tea gowns, loose lines, a rebellion against the corset that only the rich could bankroll. Gauzy gowns for noon, poetry readings in drawing rooms, freedom rationed in silk and self-satisfaction. Solidarity never even made it to the door. The 1890s were contradictions that you could wring out of your shirt. Freedom jittered in bloomers, got throttled in corsets, oozed down shirtwaists, swagged in fitted jackets. Every single stitch was a fistfight, each garment a manifesto written in thread and sweat. Fashion wasn't background noise, it was a riot. The Constitution was cotton, liberty was wrinkled linen, inequality was cut on the bias with velvet. Fashion wasn't just style, it was open war, and the sounds still ricochet. Ignore the fashion and you're asking for a beating. Today's battles over hijabs, genderless uniforms, or the firm hold of business casual are the latest rounds in a war that never ended. The corset and the bloomer did not die. They mutated to Spanx, sweatpants, HR memos, and the digital funhouse of Instagram. Freedom isn't hammered out in granite chambers. It is stitched together in back rooms and sweatshops. The 1890s fashion revolution is not dead history. It's the ghost in your closet, still fighting for a fight. Next time you see a sepia-colored Gibson girl, don't just see sleeves and skirts. See front lines. Liberty was there, perspiring under starched collars, tearing down dirt roads on 2 wheels, bloomers snapping as battle flags. The whole mad circus kept rolling, whether or not anyone was ready or not.